With every tree cutting situation, you encounter a decision has to be made. Do you cut from the top to the butt or the butt to the top? Whether a tree has been cut down or is wind thrown, the decision has to be made. It's easy to understand the reasons to take a tree down, removing it from the top. Clearance is necessary for the fall. A tree has to have a spot wide enough and long enough to place the tree, or it has to be sectioned down to avoid complications. There are pros and cons. Choices have to be made. Sometimes it's the confirmed plan because the tree's structure is no longer sound enough to control the tree to the ground safely. I'm confronted with people on firewood and storm cleanup quite often, not understanding why I prefer to work the storm or firewood tree from the butt end to the top in this flow plan. We have to look at the whole site picture. Removing logs and limbs as we move toward the top of the tree. I have stopwatched several operations over the years, and moving forward is always faster than moving backward. Butt to top is a forward movement. Working from the top to the butt, I have noticed several missed considerations. Operators put a lot of confidence in the tree not rolling, a limb not breaking, and the tree collapsing. In the flexibility of trees and trunks to have side pressures that can move a long distance, let alone rolling down on an incline. Branches dropping toward body parts. Multiple cuts on a limb or log, unnecessarily and usually causing overhead exposures as you move toward the butt. Constant brushing of footpaths. I see very commonly that the operators cut with the saw above shoulder height, this making a very susceptible situation for kickbacks and reactive forces to cause injury. Working from the butt can remove a lot of pressures in the top by removing weight from the trunk. If you take a tree like this and try to remove from the end of the limbs, you're up off the ground, but it can also turn and roll. It doesn't remove binds, but if the piece to cut is in the air, then you know compression is on bottom. Less calculation. Notches and hinges and other cuts to control the movement can be used to work safer with the wood. The best place to cut is an attachment point. Don't pass any limb connections as you go. Vertical limbs utilize the same plan as felling trees.
I want you to think about something. Now put your saw back up there a minute. Okay. And I want you to look at your feet.
Stance and position are so important.
Put your saw back up there in your cuff, in your curve. Now look at your feet. How are you standing in relationship to this? If you have to move, what's going to happen? So you've got to have your feet apart so that you're balancing your weight first. The other thing is you're cutting almost straight in. We talked about 30 degrees down from the top. So if you're going to fell it, what direction are you trying to fell it? See, right now you got it aimed back over here somewhere, but you're cutting straight into it, so that's not creating a face notch necessarily that's going to be open much. So let's take the saw out. Look at your feet now. All right, get your feet set. And now take the saw and put it flat against the front of that limb.
Now let's look at some basic rules. One saw running until area is stabilized. Work from the butt to the top of the tree. Don't pass any limbs as you move in that direction. So let's take a look at a couple trees here. This one is down, whether wind thrown or it's been felled. Look at how the limb structures are. The weight is kind of rolled over on the right side limbs, so this tree could be unstable left to right from that position. So we want to make sure that we take a look at reducing the weight of the trunk on our way to those limbs, not going to the top up beside those limbs or try to reach up to cut those limbs. This tree coming down, not very heavy, but has a potential for roll. So what we want to think about is we don't want to be up beside that tree taking limb structure off. We want to start at the butt, reduce it from the stump, and then start taking sections off. The larger tree here now, if we go up into those limb structures, it'd be very hard to be able to get away from any movement. And as we take limbs off, it reduces chances of the roll and twist towards us. It reduces weight and pressure in the top. On every cut, look for hazards, side movement potential, up and down movement, back and forward movement, and then select the cut to control the movement of the wood or limb. Even with smaller trees, multiple wind-thrown type situations, it's always better to start from the butt. If you go up to the tops, you have so much of footing situations and problems. If you start with the butt, everything can be sectioned and all will come apart nice and easy. You always have a place to go. It stays away from any debris.